Okay. Hey, welcome in. Sorry, folks. Just making a quick check at Discord over yesterday's flight, not the crash itself, short of the runway. That's yours truly's mistakes. Over the whole testing of the GPS 530, I just got notified by the X-Plane community forums to make note of it as a bug. So obviously, I stumbled across something I should not have seen. Oh no, the mafia's coming after me. Oh wait, I'm here with the Navy. We're fine. But no, just kidding. Sorry, folks. Hey, welcome aboard Flying with Mike. Let's get out of that rabbit hole real quick and into another one. Back into the C90. We're going to give it a third try this month. And we're streaming rather quickly, so we're not going to get into a lot here. We may in flight, but this is primarily testing this GPS nav bug so that I can give more information when I do report it after the flight. All right. So we are in X-Plane 12's default C90. When you look it up in the general aviation section, the livery is the T44. They are based right where we are, Corpus Christi. Now, yesterday's flight that ended up in that fiery crash off the end of the runway was to Kingsville, which is another naval air station, another training base for pilots. Um, and today we're going to go up to, and I noticed this yesterday on FlightAware and really thought about the change. We're going to head up to Victoria, Texas. It's like 80, 90 miles to the north. And it looks like they funnel up there a lot for dissimilar airports, meaning not your usual operation. Same thing goes on with fighter pilots and air to air. You know, our fighter pilots are probably the best fighter pilots in the world to shoot down our own aircraft. That doesn't do you any good when you're in battle. You need to know how to shoot down maybe a Mirage or maybe a Eurofighter or whatever else has been sold abroad that you could come across. You know, F-16 against F-16, F-15 against F-16. You guys know how to do that flawlessly, but that's what they do now. They actually have these little squadrons out there with other types, other countries' type aircraft to learn. Well, the same thing in flying. Hey, we can all figure out if we fly the same airports all the time. Man, we know them on the back. We could do it with our eyes closed. Maybe peeking at the airspeed gauge so you don't stall out and crash like somebody I know did yesterday. But when you go to a different airport, different procedures, different approaches, different runways, a whole lot of things that are different. Maybe it's narrow, maybe it's wide. So that's, I'm pretty sure what it's about. And it gets them a little cross country. So, all right, so that's game plan here today. And if all of that was wrong, hey, feel free, tell me. You're so full of it, Flying with Mike. I'm used to it, folks. And I am full of a lot of things. But anyway, let's get going on that note. So again, the T44, tail number 1058, sits on the line here today. We're going to take off 31 left, head up to Victoria, Texas. We are on VATSIM and we are on Sim Air Force, so we can embarrass ourselves again like we did yesterday with the rejected PIREP. Hey folks, these things happen, even to those of us with 10, 12, 20, 30,000 hours of flying on VATSIM or within the flight sim community. The good thing is it doesn't happen very often in the real world. So, but in flight simulators all across the country, pilots are hoping to make those mistakes so that they learn and then apply what they learn in the real world. So, and today we're testing a bug. It's appearing that I have found a bug. RAID will not kill it. I'm sure Austin would wish he could go RAID and kill it. It doesn't work that way. But anyway, we're going to go up. We're going to give it one more, to give that old Gipper one more try. Who knows? I, I wonder, and I'm going to start thinking about other default aircraft and see, because yesterday's other flight, which was all around the finger leaks, we were never flying GPS nav. Never. That was all strict hand flying with the autopilot, mainly to keep us stable at an altitude and make the heading adjustments as needed. So thinking back, I'm going, well, why didn't we have this trouble on that flight? That's why. So let's see if we can have some fun. I've got a couple things I want to test with this to see if it helps or if it doesn't affect it. So, all right, let's climb up, get in the bird, and see what we've got ahead of us. All right, I'm going to go ahead, close up the door behind us. Hey, for those who did not catch it, the stream is still on Twitch, and the video should have posted at midnight. But real quick recap. First off to Laminar. Okay, it's not the eye candy many people want to see back there, but to me and the 26, 27 years of flying simulators on my PC, this is really good. Now, the Citation 10's even better, but the fact that they put a cabin behind us, that is amazing. And it's not the, it's not the mahogany all around. Well, that mahogany actually isn't in real life. That's a lot of weight. And that means those 4 seats may not even be filled because of the added weight. But it is nice to look back and see. All right, I'm going to take a look one more time outside. Okay, the door did close. Let's get to the starting procedures. Today's flight, let's bring up Elevatech real quick. And yesterday, we accidentally left it up an extended amount of time. We're trying to get better at that. So my boss for that virtual airline caught me, and I thank you so much. All right. So here's the route. We're going to fly from Corpus to Corpus Christi VOR, on to the Victor 13 to Victoria, and then whatever approach. Now, we are flying just like yesterday morning's flight with real world weather turned off. Why? Well, in the real world, most of these airports are below VFR standards, and some, like Victoria, are actually low IFR standard. I really don't want to fly into that. Not with what we're trying to do. That's one added cog we don't need in this test. This test is strictly about the nav system. Maybe we'll get some sightseeing in. Hey, you never know. But that's our game plan. All right. I've now noticed right here we need to work on that real quick. Well, actually, it'll give it to us when we sign in. So again, here's Corpus Christi, here's Victoria. All right, today's flight, real quick, we got a 1,200-pound payload. I think that's 6 people, and I believe X-Plane, Laminar, feel free to land base me if I'm way off base. That includes the pilot and co-pilot in the GA aircraft. But I don't 100% know. 1,564 pounds of fuel minimum. We're like 1,620. in the plane, and there's the rest. 30-minute flight. This is also a currency flight for Sim Air Force, just to get us up to our monthly requirements. They're a great bunch. I just saw it come up here in Twitch. If you're watching us on YouTube, yeah, I know it's a couple days removed, possibly. Look for it down in the description. And the link to Sim Air Force. What it is, it allows you on VATSIM. So guess what? Your flights are on VATSIM. To fly military aircraft or military CRAF craft into the restricted areas where you can perform air-to-air, air-to-ground bombing, cargo lape dropping, cargo drops, what you hear the military doing. You can, but in order to be able to do that on VATSIM without getting yelled at, as what I like to call it, you got to be part of a virtual special op group. Sim Air Force meets that requirement. We're required to give you a few hours of training in formation flight. We'll even take you into air refueling. I don't know of any X-plane aircraft that allow that or transfer the fuel. We also get you up on the basic mission profiles of what aircraft you're going to fly. Basically, we give you the basic doctrine so that when you go up, you're not going to target the big, heavy tubs just for fun. And go, haha, I'm escorting you. You got to land. You can't do that on VATSIM. So we try to help instill that. So, but it's great. Give us a look. We'd love to have you. There is a digital combat sim contingent within us. If you really want to go into some serious air-to-air and see results, digital combat sim is by far better than any sim out there. I don't care what sim you think is the best. Digital combat is the most realistic. There's a couple of reasons. One, they're a much smaller scenery base than the big flight sims like X-Plane and its competitors. And that means they can elevate that realism pretty high. To the aircraft are beyond belief in what they pack, how they fly, how they react, all of that. So, but here's the caveat. You can't necessarily use digital combat sim for currency with Sim Air Force. Why? It is a VATSIM virtual special op, meaning you got to fly it on VATSIM. You can't fly it on VATSIM. As far as I know, there's no way to connect the multiplayer, which is already built into it, to the VATSIM platform. Now, you all may tell me I'm wrong, and great, because I don't fly it anymore. Haven't for a long time. But that's if you really want to amp up your military flying. If you want to do it on VATSIM, special ops like Sim Air Force are the way to go. All right. So with all of that, it's time to go fly with Mike. Hopefully not crash with Mike like we did yesterday. Oh, that was so embarrassing. Yeah, I completely looking on my approach and never looked down at one of the most important gauges, this one and this one. Airspeed and altimeter. They are your two best friends, folks. If you don't have enough of this and you don't have enough of this, it's a bad day. So, yeah, and that's what we ran into. Looking for the runway, we just let her get too slow. Too slow, too low, and down she went. So, thankfully, simulator, thankfully, real world, that would have been a catastrophe. And rightly so. Okay, checklist time. Let's get this bird up and going. All right, so to do the weight and balance that comes from your sim brief, now you can save the sim brief flight plan to your X-plane flight plan folder. and then pull it in your GPS. That's where I think the problem is. If the first place I'd look is right there. We'll see. All right. So, and if so, we may try something to see if it works somehow, some way. We'll see. So to get the weight and balance, that 1,500, I think it was 80 pounds of fuel, 1,200 pounds of payload. You come up here to flight, weight and balance, 1,200, and like I said, a little over 1,620. Hit done, and you would have a different icon here saying apply or something to that effect. We're just resuming. Okay, running on down, doors closed, parking brake set. Parking brake, by the way, right a little further, right there at the pilot's left knee. Oh yeah, pilots wish they could do this. Oh yeah, get rid of that. We can see our switches better. Let's see, cabin temperature mode. That is this big round dial. Make sure it's off. And power levers, okay, fuel levers are all the way to the right. They're cut off. Power levers, is that what they're calling these? Hang on, propeller levers, sorry. There is a debate in the real world whether to have them full RPM or feathered when you start. We went through this in yesterday's stream, yesterday's video. Check it out. I'm going to follow the checklist. Okay, and then I always like to make sure my throttles are all the way back and move them just to make sure. And we're ready to get this plane going. And I've got my numpad set up, boost pump on, battery switch coming on. Let you hear some of the bells and whistles in the background, which there aren't many. Going back to you here. Inverter will go to number 2. Basically brings your engine instrument dials alive. And then, now the one thing I don't get is a fuel pressure low indication up here. Or did I? No, I did not. Generators and oil pressure. That's it. And again, this is not their checklist. This is a checklist I found. So this could be more real world-ish. Transfer pumps on. I'm going to set them to auto. Fire detection check. Check, check, check. By the way, that would be another button. Not there. And cabin signs are right down here. Put them. Okay, we're ready to start this thing up. All right, now this is something, when I came over to X-Plane in 2020, that sold me one of the many things that sold me. Their attention to the prop. In a turboprop, they don't just spin right up like a piston engine. In a turboprop, that like the jet engine, if you watch those jet engines, they start spinning up until the fuel hits, and then they kick in. I like how they've done this. So, right ignition on. And we're going to watch. And we're going to go to low idle. I just love, that is how they start. And I really do. Hawker, welcome aboard, sir. Missed you yesterday around the Finger Lakes. But hey, we appreciate the resubscribe. Wow, 59 months he's been with us. It's been a while that we've been on Twitch here, folks. Thank you, sir, so much. He's one of our moderators. And Let me get that starter off so we don't burn it. Okay, condition lever, low idle, IT, oil pressure's all looking good. And now we're going to go to high idle. Think of it as a cross bleed. And, oh yeah, let's go ahead and get that generator on. Okay, next up, you know which engine's coming next. There's only one other. Okay, the engine's up. Oil pressure, oil temperature will start to rise here shortly. And generator on. Okay, where are we here? Inverter to... And now we'll pull back on engine number 2. All right. Was a busy day yesterday, Hawker says. I get it. I get it. It's Memorial Weekend. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed at least. All right. Avionics coming on. Now, with this plane and many of them, we have to also come down, kick the EFIS. And the flight director's on. And then click OK. OK. Now they come on GPS. I set them to VOV lock to start with. I want to look at this real quick. And this is your nav source, so what you're getting nav from and all. When you're on GPS, you're supposed to be on GPS. All right, so let's get to work. All right, well, if you haven't caught it yet, Hawker, last stream, last night, ended in not so good circumstances. All right, fuel control heat, transfer pumps on. Auto, cross-feed auto, and annunciators. Let's look and make sure they are clear, except for our ignition. Why is a master warning? I'm going to go ahead and turn off the auto ignition. Okay. Now, we're going to quickly put in our flight plan. So, we click FPL. Okay, that's good to see. Then we dial over and look for NGP. Okay, it's not here yet. Let me do this. That one at the bottom is what we want. Enter. Okay, now let's look at the flight plan. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's what I wanted to make sure I saw first. You want the departure airport, you want the arrival airport in there. This the one for the arrival plays in more heavily if you choose a instrument approach. And I'm going to kick that over one. So everything currently looks good. Now, as I stated, we're going to take off on runway heading, and I think what I'm going to do is swing to the left over in NWL, head out a little bit, then head straight back at turn on nav, turn on what am I trying to think? GPS, nav, and see if it'll follow us to Corpus. I'm also going to have Corpus dialed in. Matter of fact, let's make sure. I think it is 1550. Where are you? There you are. Now, where are your numbers? That's always the fun thing. There it is, 1550. Okay, up you go. Going to Victor or Victoria, so hang on. We'll get that one in here as well once we find it. 900. Standing by, and you know what? I can actually do it this way. 9. Let's just flip it. There. And now what that does is it gives me when to make the turn and start. Well, actually, no, because we actually track a little different. But where is this whiskey? Huh. I don't see it on my chart here. That's interesting. Okay. No worries. Okay, so we got our basics set up. Turn the power on. And the odd thing is Corpus, which is actually up over here, is just far enough away, line of sight can't pick up the signal. Okay, so let's get started with what is runway 31's heading? 312. Okay, so what I do, I have to go back and look at what all I changed. That's the one bad thing about trying to cram everything. What was it? 312. Now I can run the heading, and that gives me at least a heading to work with. All right, bear with me. I'm going to see what we're set at. And yeah, I'm not worried too much about pressure. Trim's on. All right, let's, we're ready to taxi. Avionics are set up. And tower is, where is tower? Zero 0065. Okay, got our squawk. We're showing green for the mode C, so that's good. Let's get our nav and beacon lights, which I'm sorry should have turned on earlier. We're ready to go. Now we're ready to go. Okay, let me just see. All right, so we can go this way. Could have just made the hard right there and then down Yankee, but we'll go over here to, I'm not sure if this is Charlie Romeo or not, but we'll use it to get down. Okay, we're on Romeo now. And then Yankee is in that direction. At Corpus Christi Naval Air Station traffic, Sim Air Force 18 taxi to runway 31 left for a for departure. Okay. I felt bad yesterday because I didn't provide many screenshots. Let's give it to them. Okay. I don't think they need anything else. Again, I think that'll look good as long as we make a nice wide turn over NWL. Head out past the barrier there. I don't know if that's the intercoastal considered still there or not at Corpus, but that's an interesting stretches from New England all the way at least over to Texas, maybe all the way down. All right, let's run them up. Okay. Bring them up to 1900. It's actually a lot easier to read here. We're watching our prop gauge right here. Now, we don't have magnetos to check like yesterday, but we do have the props themselves that need the oil worked through the blades. Or I'm sorry, through the hub. Okay, let's get everything stable again. While we're at 1900, I don't know how to, where the overspeed govern check. I don't know where that button is. So we'll bring her back. All right, power levers to idle. That was the beta check. Okay. Condition levers at low idle. Auto feather armed. Okay. And all right, we're ready to go. Aviation or avionics and radar set, flight controls. Okay, all my stuff is out of the way. All right, we're ready to go. Power levers up, or fuel levers full. And Naval Air Station, Corpus Christi traffic. Sim Air Force 18, departing 31 left. In the area, then out to Victoria, Texas. Okay, pitot heats, make sure they're on. Pitot stall warning on. I don't think we need anything else. Auto ignition armed, and we're ready to go. Okay, there's 400 feet. go ahead and make a nice easy turn. And the reason I'm just doing this is a little bit of sightseeing. But it will also give us an interesting test. And what we're looking for is see if there's any oil rigs out here. Sectionals show them. Now, granted, they could be anywhere, let's be honest. But the sectionals show them in a certain area. And I will not argue I could be way too high. And that cloud's probably in the way. They're on the map right off in this sector. Should be, if I'm looking at... Here, I'll let you see what I'm looking at. Those black dots are oil rigs. But I would think you could still see them. I could be wrong, because they are a very small needle in the Gulf of America. All right, that's far enough out, I think. I don't see anything. Like I said, we're probably too high now. All right, let's start working our way back. Now, one thing that would be cool if these knobs that are on the HSI over here were over here as well. There was a simulation in X-Plane 11 who did just that, and wow, did that help in the art of flying this plane. And it wasn't art, trust me. We called it Sparky for a reason. It wasn't hard to blow the engines. And I'll be honest, in all the years at the firehouse at Mid-America Airport or in the Air Force, I never saw one. So I think he had it a little too tight, but I don't know simulation, how that works. Way beyond me. All right, we are going to begin our turn back. Actually, let's now from here I expect it to go to the airport to start, so we'll get a turn started. Actually, you know what? We're going to do exactly the same thing as we did yesterday. GPS. Okay. Actually, let's just do it right. Let's go nav. Okay. So far, so good. Looks like it's tracking to the airport. All right, we are doing real good on airspeed. Now, granted, the flight plan was filed to 13,000. We're going to keep it at 8. Okay, and it's showing. That's good. Now, let's try something. Okay, I am going to go. Okay, now it appears to be working. Why? What did I do different? Now, I am expecting it to fly pretty close to the fix worry and then turn on the course to aughts, even though but it's going to join that airway. I don't know what's going on here, but yesterday, I'm starting to think I cried wolf. Okay, there's worry. So I'm thinking we're going to intercept. Now it's flying like it should. It knows all eyes are on it. I'm going to behave. Tomorrow I will mess up. Oh, man. Well, that's exactly how it's supposed to work, folks. Exactly like that. We all watched it turn us back to Corpus and not towards fix number 2. Really interesting. The real reason I'm wanting to do this test, not only to make sure the GPS nav is working, but I would like to get the Citation 10 back in the sky here in within the next month and have some fun. And if it's not working here, then it isn't going to work there. And like I said, all the aero flights we've done of late have been us controlling it either by heading or by hand flying like you would anyway. So I am thoroughly confused. Obviously, I have not put the flight plan in here. Maybe we'll just do a return trip and try to go direct our first fix. Okay. We just check something. I just might go on up to 13,000. Yep, let's do it. Okay. All right, well, have we got on course yet? No. Where are we? We should have gotten on. Well, we're still, well, we're headed more in between Worry and Austin, so that's good. And now we're starting to come in on the line. Okay, I see the CDI moving over. Yeah, that's working. Now it's, I don't know what I did. It's like I said, I always thought this was a me issue. I know, it's all about me. Okay, oh, what's going on here? We've got a red line. Okay, well, let's take a look outside. Airplane's still in one piece. Okay, 030 at 6. It's actually now VFR there, barely. It's scattered at 900. So if we come in runway 31, matter of fact, I think that's my cue. Okay, we're going to try something. First off, let's get the plane descending. Gotta set an altitude. Okay, got it. Okay, Sayog, we need to come down to 2200, we'll call it. Okay, now we got to get on our nav system here, procedures. We don't have an arrival, so we'll enter RNAV 31. Now, so that's working. now we just got to descend. Okay, I mean, it appears to be working now. So I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong. Well, I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what I was doing wrong. So, Flaminar, you're in here. Thank you. I don't know what I was doing wrong. It has worked flawless today. So, we'll try a second flight back to Corpus. These are short enough flights. And figure out what the heck went wrong. All right, we're coming into our altitude. How we doing on our approach? Oh, we got a hold. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't look. All right, it is flying the full procedure. We'll let her swing around and then go direct again. Curious if it'll turn back. I actually never have flown a full procedure. So, and for currency, this is a good thing. It's what I kind of expected, 2992. And keep our speed. Just before the edge of that peninsula, we should be turning back to a heading at 309. All right, what is, by the way, CTAF here? 126. Sometimes it's easier here. 126.075. Wow, turned right on. Okay, there's that airport, Port Lavaca, Calhoun County. And we should be lining up now for our runway. Okay, let's see what happens here. Victoria Regional, Sim Air Force 18, exiting the hold at Sayog, inbound 31 full stop. All right, we're going to be doing a bit of a descent here. Not much. Okay, pressurization. Okay, cabin signs, prop synchro phasers off. I'm not sure why. Okay. Flaps, props full. Radar to standby, prop auto throttle or auto feather on, condition levers high, auto ignition, high RPM, beta or reverse, remove at 40, and here we go. Runway is in sight. Trim's not working. Victoria, Texas, Regional Sim Air Force 1 mile final 3-1 full stop.
500.
Is that a runway?
400.
It's closed.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Victoria, Texas traffic, all runways clear, taxi to the ramp. All right, and there we are. Now, bear with me 1 second. Looks like, hang on a second, let's get her shut down. Okay, after landing, flaps up, auto ignition's off. Ice protection, pitot heat off. Okay, trim set, and I'm going. Try something here. It won't let you roll it up. That's weird. Autopilot is off, right? Yeah. Interesting. Um, transfers off. Crossfeed off. Inverter. Sub panel. Okay, and at 10%, we turn the boost pumps off. All right, we're going to go ahead, wrap this up. I'm going to fly it back one more time just to see. I know this was a relatively short stream. Well, you know what? Hang on just a second. Let me just make sure. Hang on. All right, let's go ahead, do a second flight back to Corpus. So give me a second here. What we're going to do is shut down YouTube. And I think we'll just stream it back on Twitch. So stand by while we get it shut down on YouTube, and we'll be right back.